Well, hello and welcome to a very busy February on the campus of Tiffin University. Hi, everybody. I'm Snyder, voice of the Dragons. To my right, head football coach Brett Ekkens. And coach, the football season, late August, November or so. But there's dates throughout the football season that are almost as important as your actual game dates. One of which is the day the kids report for fall camp. One of which is the day you can start practicing with them. And one of them is National Signing Day, and that's what we're here for today.
Yeah, signing day is a pivotal day for any football program, but here it's a great opportunity to celebrate the new signing class, the 2025 signing class, and a great outlook for the future of this program here at Tiffin University.
And we can't really talk about these kids yet unless we talk a little bit about what we had. We had kids play football for us last year who are preparing for possible future playing football still. Guys who did some remarkable things on the football field. Some big shoes to fill, but I think you got a class here maybe up to the task.
Yeah, I agree, man. We had a great year this past year. We've got guys that are pursuing their NFL dream, which is a great thing to watch and motivating for our current players. But we're really excited about this class that's coming in. We think that through development, it's going to be a phenomenal class.
A little bit easier, different recruiting cycle for you this year compared to last year, to say the least.
Yeah, it was nice to have a full cycle.
Right.
Last year was certainly rushed, but you look at last year's class, there's a lot of guys that had a great freshman year, and we're really excited about what last year's class is going to be able to do in the future as well. But it felt great to have an entire year cycle and be able to recruit the guys that we've wanted to for the last year.
What you guys were able to pull off in such a short time last year was pretty remarkable, and having a full year this year gives me 2 sheets of paper with kids' names on it. A huge class coming to be Tiffin University Dragons starting this coming fall, and Coach, was something that's really neat about it. A lot of homegrown kids, Ohio kids. About 2/3 of these kids are from Ohio.
Yeah, 2/3 of this class are from Ohio, and then I think we've got 5 states represented. So we feel good. Most of those states are touching Ohio. We feel great about our recruiting area, but our talent is homegrown here, and we're fired up to announce these guys.
And you know what else about these kids? Proven winners, 11 state champions on this list of young men right here. That's pretty important to you, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of great senior seasons that are in there and junior seasons. And exciting as we went through some of the stats for each of the guys, how many state champions we've got, and then that's taken away. That's not listing our state runner-ups. We had a lot of guys that made deep playoff runs, and honestly, for us, you're looking at guys that are a part of successful programs. Typically, they have got great habits.
Yep, playing lots of extra football games means lots of extra practices and getting even better on that football field. Coach mentioned before we got started, that defense wins championships. So we're like, well, let's start with the defense. Should we get at it?
Absolutely, let's go.
The 2025 recruiting class for Tiffin University. We're going to start with the defensive line. I'm going to say the name of the player and the school he went from and maybe something quick about him. Then we'll send it over to Coach to give you the rest of the details on the young man. Let's start first with the defensive lineman out of Benedictine High School, Tyshawn Wilson. Guy with some good size and some good quickness.
Yeah, definitely. He does a great job stopping the run. He's able to stay square and really a guy that can play his gap and then shed and make a true impact. He does have the ability to rush the passer, but what we see from him and his ability to stop the run really flashed on film.
Another defensive lineman coming to be at Tiffin University Dragons next year. He's from Afrocentric High School in Columbus. Talil Spikes, guy who brings a lot of passion and a lot of energy to the football field.
Oh, yeah. He plays with a ton of energy, and he can get after the quarterback. He's an explosive defensive tackle. We think that he's just scratching the surface on what he's going to be able to do, and through development, I think in a couple of years, he's going to be pretty scary for an offensive line to have to deal with.
That's what you want in your defensive linemen, guys who end up growing up and being scary dudes, right?
Absolutely.
You mentioned a pass rusher. Another dynamic pass rusher coming to us from Canton McKinley, Kevon McNeil. Tell us about Kevon.
Yeah, Vaughn can really bend the edge. You see him; he's a long defensive end who can rush the passer. One thing that we're really excited about is he pairs his length with his athleticism. You see him be able to drop that shoulder and dip and rip around the edge. That's a hard thing for a tackle to have to block. So we're excited. Again, another guy that we think we can get in here and help him develop and grow into somebody that's a difficult person for any offensive lineman to have to block.
Another young man who comes to us out of the state of Illinois, Grays Lake North High School, Juan Marquez Jr., a kid who brings a lot of strength to that defensive line.
Yeah, Juan plays with some power. He's a strong kid that you can see some of his best highlights are him bull rushing a defensive or an offensive lineman back. The thing that we like is his effort, enthusiasm. He's a big weight room guy, and that shows up on his film. His commitment has helped him develop during his high school days, and we're really excited to see what he can do when he gets into our strength and conditioning program.
Another athletic defensive lineman coming to us from a really good Catholic league in Chicago, out of Marion Catholic in Illinois, Joaquin Mendez.
Yeah, Joaquin, man, he's a guy that he's got some of that length and that power. He combines those two things to make himself really a complete player. You see him consistently in the backfield. He shows up as a run stopper and a guy that can rush the passer. And honestly, we're really excited about his progression once he gets here. We think that he's got a frame and he's got a work ethic too that will really show up in his development. So we're fired up about his ability to come in here and really grow inside of our program.
Out of the state of Indiana, Ben Davis High School, it might sound familiar from last year's recruiting class, another good big-time athlete on that defensive line, Frank Bertram. Tell us about Frank.
Yeah, Frank, when we watched Frank, he really reminded us of Chris Walton, which was, that's a
good thing.
That's a huge compliment. But Frank's an athletic guy that, man, he's full of energy and he's got such a quick twitch off the ball. His frame is long and he's going to build that muscle that he needs. But right now, immediately from a great high school, his ability to go out and rush the passer, we're fired up for that. He's going to develop into a real complete player here. But again, we were watching his film and it's eerily similar to a young Chris Walton. So on his visit, he was able to meet Chris, and we're really excited about his future moving forward.
Another young man from a Ohio high school powerhouse in the central Ohio area, Pickerington Central, Braylon Landrum, another playmaker on that defensive line. Oh,
yeah. Braylon Landrum, he's going to be a complete player for us. He's a guy that, he's played in a great league down in the Columbus area. He's played all over the defensive line. He played some end. He came in and played some defensive tackle. And for us, we're excited to see, how he develops inside of our program. He's going to probably gain some weight and some strength. And we could see him being a real problem as a defensive tackle as he grows and develops. But his ability to rush at end in his film also shows up. He was a problem for offensive lines to have to deal with in high school. And again, in a good league like that, that was really impressive for us to see.
You gotta like words like problems for the offensive line when you're talking about defensive linemen. One more defensive lineman in the recruiting class. This one's out of Villa Angela St. Joseph High School, Braylon Jesse, another kid with a big time high motor.
Yeah, and that's a consistent theme you're going to see. We love guys that play with high effort. Braylon came in this summer, and he told us that his nickname was Big Swole, and we found out why really quickly. He was at our offensive and defensive line big man camp, he's a weight room warrior who comes in with a really high motor, and he's a guy that he's not afraid to work. You see that show up on his film, and honestly, if you've got guys that are willing to work and willing to develop and willing to play with that kind of energy and enthusiasm, you can have a great unit. So
right.
We're excited about the defensive line that we're signing, and we think that those guys they're all wired very similarly in the fact that they want to play hard and they want to get after people.
Yeah, when I look at this group as a whole, some of the words I'm bringing with me: athleticism, versatility.
Yeah, absolutely. And for us, we're looking at everything's a projection. We're not looking for a complete polished player. We want to see what are the strengths
right.
of each of those guys, and then we look at how do we think that they can develop inside of our program. So we're really excited about that class, and we think they could be doing big things here in the next couple of years.
That's the big guys up front. That's our defensive line recruiting class for the 2025 class. Now those guys will be busy being problems, as Coach said, for the offensive line, allowing the linebackers to do their things and make a lot of tackles. Let's take a look at that group now. 4 young men signing with the Dragons as linebackers. Let's start with a young man out of Solon, Sean Richardson. One of the words I saw was instinctive. Tell us about his instinctiveness.
Yeah, he's been an instinctive player, and I think it's because he's played different positions. For his high school, he was a guy that they had to plug in at a bunch of different spots, and for us, I think his future is at linebacker. But he's a football player. He's a complete football player that we're excited to see how he progresses when he's allowed to master just one position.
Does this sometimes help a kid as he becomes a college football player having to play multiple positions in high school because this just makes him a smarter football player, knowing that's what that guy's going to do, this is what I'm going to do, that's what that guy's going to do?
Yeah, I think so. I think for us, it's we don't pigeonhole a guy into, hey, this is who he is in high school, is who he's going to be in college. We like to see guys that move around and they play football. It's where can they be best for their high school, and that's something for us that we've got to determine their best collegiate position.
Let's go to the state of Indiana one more time. Westfield, Indiana. Lennox Williams, another very athletic linebacker you're bringing in.
Yeah, Lennox plays in a great league down in the Indianapolis area, and he is physical. He runs the ball, and he can do a lot, to be honest with you, from an athletic standpoint, because they do play him in space. So we like to see our linebackers be able to run and play in space, but he also brings that physicality, and he's a great tackler. So we're excited to see how he's able to come in and his athletic skill set translates to the college game.
Well, another young man who is a very strong tackler as well, coming to us from Medina, Cooper Josephsick. Tell us about Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper played both ways for his high school team as well. And it's another guy that he really does have a lot of athleticism that he brings to his game. He can run. He's a guy that's physical. He loves the weight room. He's been a guy that's really developed his body during his time in high school, and that's something on his visit we talked a lot about. He's put himself in position to be successful on the field, and he's trained his way into being a great football player. We're excited about that work ethic that he's got, and because it shows up when you watch his film.
One more linebacker here to talk about, and this one, in the description said old school, and I like that as I'm an old school guy. Cohen Holbert from Eden High School. Tell us about Cohen.
Yeah, Cohen was the best player on the field every week, for each of his high school games. He's a guy, his brother plays offensive line for us.
Yeah.
We've gotten a chance to really recruit him all the way through since the day that I got here, but it was great to see him impact the game in so many different ways. And I mean, his ability to tackle, he set the school record for tackles this year. So he's a guy that has the most career tackles in school history for a reason. Right. He is a ball hawk, and he's a guy that they said, hey, see ball, get ball, and he did that in high school. He's physical, and we're excited about his future.
The linebacking group as a whole, 4 of you bring it in. It seems like all of them are guys that when they go to make the tackle, they make the tackle.
Absolutely, yeah. The job of a collegiate linebacker has become more complex as offenses have changed. Mm-hmm. You got to be a great tackler still, but you have to be able to move in space. And so for us, it's combining the athleticism we need with the physicality of today's game.
Your 2 biggest groups in this recruiting class. The first one we already spoke about, the defensive line. The next would be your defensive backs. So a little bit of focus on keeping that scoreboard down to as lower than those numbers as possible on that visitor side and outscore them on the offensive side. But let's talk about this defensive back group you got. We'll start with a young man out of Newark High School, Tyler Hurd. He's a very athletic defensive back.
Oh, yeah. You see him be able to cover well. I mean, he's a guy that really improved from his junior to his senior film. He improved in his ability to lock a receiver down. We like his versatility. We play with 5 defensive backs, and the ability, for him to be a fearless corner or potentially play some safety excites us. He's doing a lot on his film and making plays all over the field.
I imagine when these young men look at some of the film from your games this year, see the playmakers you had making plays in that secondary, probably got a mouth water a little bit about being a Dragon, I'm sure.
Yeah, they get excited. That's for sure.
Another very athletic defensive back out of John Glenn High School in Michigan, Rainey Matthews.
Yeah, Rainey's got great length. We're really excited about what he brings to the game. And one of the themes you're going to hear is long and athletic. Mm-hmm. We want to continue to get and build length in that defensive backfield. But his ability to be a playmaker in high school really excited us for his future here at the college level.
Yeah, you mentioned athletic. I wrote that down for about half the kids here, that's for sure. Another young man playing defensive back, coming to Tiffin to play defensive back with some good size out of Pickerington North High School, Raphael Washington.
Yeah, he goes by Tank. He's physical, but you see him, interceptions and being able to run with the ball after he catches it. He's all over the field. And again, we talk about that league down in the Columbus area. Mm-hmm. Okay, Pickerington North is a great football program that he comes from. He plays plays and practices with great players, and he's one of the standouts that really catch your eye when you go and watch. And we saw him all the way when we went out in the spring watching workouts. So he's a guy that we're really excited to have committed here, and we're really excited about his future in the defensive backfield for us.
When you talk about high school programs like that, and you mention a young man who stands out in that kind of high school program, that's pretty impressive. Another playmaker in the defensive backfield out of Groveport, Madison, Jeremiah Moore.
Yeah, Jeremiah Moore flashes when you turn his film on. He is. It's another guy that he's got great length. He's got great speed, agility. He can do great things when the ball is in his hands. He's somebody that we think can come in here and make an impact. We're really excited to get him and have him signed in this class, and we think that he could make a huge impact for the future for us.
Yeah, you play against a lot of wide receivers that have some pretty good height. There's a lot of big guys in our league, and maybe this defensive back I think has the most height of anybody you brought in out of Mason High School, Javion Hendricks.
Yeah, Javion, he did a great job on his highlight tape of playing some different safety positions, and we think, for him, he really matches what we're trying to do. He can come down and he can fit a run. He can play the pass. He's all over the field at another really good high school down near the Cincinnati area. So he's played great football, but we're excited about his versatility at that safety position as we use three safeties in our defense. So
right.
We think he can do we think he can do it all, and we're excited to see where he ends up fitting for us.
Well, some speed coming to us out of Miami Central High School down in Florida. Dewey Davis, tell us about Dewey.
Yeah, Dewey caught our eye as soon as we saw his film, and he was able to make it up for an official visit with us. We got a chance to spend time with his family, and we just think it's a great fit. He's from a really successful high school down in Miami, and the thing that we saw is he's playing against great competition, and he's out there. He's one of the best players on the field as well. He's making plays. They're able to do a lot of great things with him, and again, he thrived in the setting that he was in.
Another speedy defensive back that can't get much more local than this from Fostoria, just down the road, Braden Harrison. Tell us about Braden.
Yeah, Braden came to camp this summer and he ran fast. He was a 4.4 twice for us.
Wow.
So that caught our eye right away. We think his upside is tremendous. He brings a lot of speed to the game. He's a great competitor, and we think that inside of our strength and conditioning program, he could develop into something really special.
Love that 4.4 speed. Gotta love that. Another athletic defensive back out of Glen Oak High School, Adrian Burt. Tell us about Adrian.
Yeah, Adrian played both sides of the ball for them, and we think anytime that you see a guy play quarterback on offense and then be able to play defensive back, that gets you excited because they understand the game. So playing both ways at any high school, it takes a great player. But we really think that he's going to develop into a phenomenal defensive back when he can focus on that. His understanding of the game was there. He's an ultimate competitor. We're excited to see what he can do.
And you know that the coach felt like he could lean on a kid like that. That's something you got to like. So this defensive back group, that's all of them there. A lot of athletes, a lot of speed, some size, some playmakers. What am I missing?
Yeah, I think for us it's just bringing in as many complete players as we can. We move some guys around, in our defensive backfield currently, and we find what they do best. We put them in position to be successful. So, for us it's figuring out which of those guys can go out there and play on an island and be a lockdown corner, which guys fit the run better, and which guys can do both. So for us that's a great class, and we feel like we've got a lot of versatility there, and we've got a lot of size, and we got a lot of athleticism.
A big number of kids from Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan as well. So in Miami, kids from all over the place. Kids coming to Tiffin to make plays for the Dragons on the defensive side of the football, and they're hoping to get the football to the offensive kids that are coming to Tiffin to put some points on the board. You're an offensive lineman, so we got to start with the offensive lineman, right? So let's start with the guys up front here. As we look at the 2025 Tiffin University signing day class, moving to the offensive side of the football, Matthias Granderson, a kid with a lot of strength, coming to you from East Kentwood in Michigan.
Yeah, Matthias looks great. I mean, he caught our eye the first day that we laid our eyes on him. So he's a guy that looks like he came right out of the weight room. And he's powerful. He's athletic. We think that he's going to develop into a tremendous offensive lineman here. And it's because of the work ethic that he's had. He's developed himself into a great high school player. But we watched the progression for him in his time in high school, and we get really excited about what he could become in college. So he's a guy that's mauling people on the field and doing great things off the field.
It's the evolution of the offensive lineman. You look back at the 80s, they were never really thought of like as athletes. you want to play offensive line at the college level nowadays and beyond. You got to be an athlete, don't you?
Oh yeah, with our scheme, you can't be rigid and stiff. You've got to be able to come out, move in space. We ask our offensive linemen to do a lot, and they do. They have to be a tremendous combination of strength, power, and athleticism.
Another athlete coming to the offensive line out of Avon Lake High School, Joe McNulty.
Yeah, we're really excited about Joe. He's got some really good length and size. He's a tackle that we see as a guy that can come and do everything that we ask our tackles to do. He's worked his way into being a phenomenal player. He puts in the time and effort. He's every day after school, he's going and he's lifting and he's working on his skill. So we were really excited when we got a chance to spend time with Joe, and then when Joe decided that he wanted to be a Dragon, we were fired up. So
awesome.
We think he'll be a really big part of our future, and we're excited to see what that work ethic brings him here.
Some more size coming to us from Kiwanis Hills, Michigan, Jeremiah Richards.
Yeah, Jeremiah is coming to us from Kennewa Hills, and he's got the ability to develop into another guy that can develop into a great player. But he's got a great frame. You see him playing physical football, moving in space well, and we think that a couple years into our program, with our strength and conditioning and the knowledge of the game that we're going to be able to give him, and a commitment to excellence, he's going to be a guy that you look at and you say, how did you get that guy?
I like hearing that too. Another very athletic young man coming to us from another high school that's been a powerhouse in Ohio for a while, to Cleveland Glenville, Jamar Bryant.
Yeah, a great high school. We know he's been coached well, and we know that he'll be ready to compete. So we're excited about Jamar, and we think that another guy that's got great length, his wingspan is going to allow him to really be able to pair that up with great feet and athleticism, and that's what makes a really good offensive lineman. We think he's going to be a physical player. It's the same thing inside of our program with Coach Rufner and Coach Cox in the weight room. He's going to be a guy that develops into a great special player.
You gotta like young men. You gotta love young men that come in and are already hard workers, like this young man out of Akron Buchtel, DeAndre Copeland.
Yeah, DeAndre's an intelligent kid that understands the game. He is an earth mover. He's a guy that's going to come in and be physical. He can get movement at the point of attack, and he is an effort guy. He's a high effort guy, as all of the offensive linemen are that we're talking about. But he's one that we were really excited to get. He's stout and strong, and he's developed his body, and we're really excited to see what he does. It's the future.
You normally start 5 offensive linemen. You brought in 5 offensive linemen, and as a group, good size, athletic kids who are ready to get to work in the weight room. What more could you really ask for out of your offensive linemen?
Yeah, we see this class as an improvement for our future, and we know that they have to come in and put the work in, but we're recruiting guys that fit the right profile that we're looking for, that have the work ethic. That's a huge determining factor for the success of an offensive lineman, is are they willing to put in the work, and will they play with effort? If they do those two things, this class is going to be very special.
Well, let's move on now to the wide receiving group, and we'll start with a young man out of Aurora Christian in Illinois, a kid who you said was a very polished route runner, Jonan Maselli.
Yeah, I coached Jonan's brother at Saginaw Valley. Right. He was an offensive lineman for us, so when I saw Jonan playing, I thought, man, he runs great routes. He works his tail off. He can create separation. He's a playmaker. We're really excited with his frame and his work ethic and what he already can do as a route runner. We're excited about what he's going to develop into through the work that we already see him doing.
Another dynamic wide receiver coming to us from Lima senior, Isaiah Wilson.
Yeah, Isaiah Wilson, they call him Boog. He's got unbelievable stats. He caught over 1,700 yards in receiving this year.
Wow.
Which is
in a high school season
incredibly hard to do, right? And that's not by any mistake. He came out and he's able to run by you. He's able to make you miss. He's got great hands, and we're thrilled that he decided that Tiffin was the place for him.
Another athletic wide receiver coming to us from Yorktown, Indiana, Ephraim Doherty. Tell us about Ephraim.
Ephraim came here in the summer and camped with us, and we knew right away that he had some wheels. He can run, and you turn on his film, and he is a guy that he'll stride right by you. So we saw that right away. We stayed in the recruiting process with him. He's got great athleticism. You see him playing basketball. He can throw it down. He can dunk. He's a great athlete. One of his coaches said the best athlete that he's ever coached. So
awesome.
We're excited about Ephraim, and we think that he can work his way into being a special player.
Another wide receiver, and I love the description on this one, listed as a menace out of Hazlet, Michigan, Dontrell Dennis. Yeah,
Dontrell's making plays on both sides of the ball in his high school film. So we had a debate over where we see him fitting, but man, he is explosive. He is explosive. So he's a guy that we think can come in and get in the slot and make people miss and make plays. And that's what you see on his highlight tape, is him consistently making plays, whether he's picking the ball off on defense or taking it to the house on offense. So we're excited about Dontrell and the things that he can do. And honestly, in special teams as well, we see him making an impact. When the ball's in his hands, special things are happening.
You mentioned, having discussions about where does he fit, this and that. It's always interesting to see how a young man changes and how his role could possibly change throughout, a 3-4 year career in college level. So pretty cool to see.
For sure.
Another explosive wide receiver to round out the wide receiver group out of Massillon, Washington, Braylon Tolles. Braylon.
Yeah, Braylon's played some really, really high-end football. So he was one of the best players on a great team. They won a state championship during his time there, and he was a big part of that. And honestly, he's a guy that you see just continue to jump off the page. And similar to some of the defensive guys we were talking about, he's on a great team, and he's one of the best players on the field, if not the best player on the field. Another guy that came and camped with us, and you just saw that he was a magnet for the football. All the quarterbacks wanted to throw him the ball. He could make people miss, run great routes. We're excited about how competitive he is, too. He is a competitor.
Sounds like in this group here, the 5 wide receivers that we're bringing in, explosiveness, route running, athleticism, menace. Gotta love those kind of words when you're talking about wide receivers.
Yeah, I think for us, it's always going to be, can we add guys that have length and athleticism? But it's also, hey, where can we find some of these slot guys that can make people miss and be electric and take it to the house? There's not one size or one body type of a receiver that we're looking for. We're looking for playmakers, and then we will design ways to get them the football. So that's something that we're always looking for.
The wide receiving room at Tiffin University has been full of dynamic athletes for a few years now. All right, let's move on to the tight end group. You're bringing in 4 tight ends, all of them with real good size. We'll start off with the first one here. It's got great size out of Groveport Madison, Jaquan Ingram.
Yeah, Jaquan played receiver at Groveport Madison, so when he came on his visit, we started talking about, hey, we see you as a tight end, and we think, he's played one year of high school football. Oh, wow. He was a basketball player who's got that length, and he's tough. We think that he's going to come in and really master being a tight end and do the things that we're asking for. He's a willing blocker, but we think what he brings to the table as a receiver could be a great mismatch.
Oh, quarterbacks love a great receiving tight end, that's for sure. Another receiving tight end with good size, pushing up over around 6'4" out of Southeast High School, Jack Muldowney.
Yeah, I've known Jack since he was a little guy. I coached his brother, Sean, at Akron. He was an offensive lineman for us. And then Connor, Jack's older brother, played for Coach Reiser here at Tiffin University. So we've known about Jack for a long time. I think he's a guy he's got a great frame. I think his athleticism shows up on film. I know how tough he is. He is a tough player, and he's a guy that's going to develop himself through the weight room and through hard work into the tight end that we need. And he can do all things that we ask him to do. He's physical and tough. He can also get in space, and we think he's going to be able to really be a versatile player at tight end.
Another third tight end, over 6 foot tall, out of Brush High School, Isaiah Parker.
Yeah, Isaiah played both ways for his high school, and you see him sacking the quarterback and playing great on defense there, and then popping over and being a versatile tight end. It's what we're looking to do. We want to be dynamic at that position, and we use our tight ends in a lot of different ways. What we ask of them to do athletically, we feel like he really fits that.
Excellent. 3 tall receivers, but maybe the strongest of the 4 tight ends you brought in out of Massillon, Washington High School, DJ Zimmerman.
Yeah, DJ's another one that had a great high school career, and he's been a part of a lot of success there. So we see what they ask him to do, specifically in the run game, are some of the same things that we're going to ask him to do here. And he's physical. We do believe that he can do those things on the edge and catch the ball and be a mismatch there. But we see him doing a lot of the things that we're going to ask our tight ends to do here, and that excited us. And then again, being a part of the success that they've had at Massillon, that's something that we really look forward to. And he's been a guy that's been really determined to make himself into a great player and gone through some adversity, and he's stuck in there, and we think he's going to be a really good match for us.
Look at the group as a whole. The 4 of them looks like it's the size with the frames that you can mold into those big time Division II tight ends, what you were looking for out of this group?
Yeah, we're fired up about this group. We knew we needed to add some depth in our tight end room, and we think that this class that we brought in, all of those guys could end up being great players here. So we're excited about them and their mentality as well. We think that we're bringing in a tough group they're going to be key contributors to our future, and we think tight ends can be great mismatches, as we saw with Joey Zalewski was all year for us. So we're excited about this group, and we think they bring a lot to the table.
Well, you look at, guys playing on Sunday. Tight ends are ones that get the girls, right? Let's move to the running back group. Let's go to a very physical runner, another kid out of Massillon, Washington, Mylan Lennox.
Yeah, Mylan Lennox, he played both ways for Massillon. He was a linebacker and running back, and he runs the ball like he's a linebacker. I mean, he can go the distance. He's got that kind of speed, but the thing I like is when he's getting the ball, he is a determined runner, right? He's not willing to go down easy. Mm-hmm. He's going to come out and he's going to punish a linebacker or a D-line or a safety that comes and tries to tackle him. So that was something we saw we really liked, and we love the way he runs the football. He is determined.
He makes sure the guys know that you've been tackling Mylan Lennox all day when the game's over, right?
Yeah, he does.
Another running back, this young man here, actually my son knows, he's a very elusive running back out of Sandusky Perkins, Isaac Bunce. Tell us about Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac was a part of a great team this year. They appeared in the state championship game, and he was a large part of that. We love his mentality. We think that he is a kid that's going to come out and he's going to make an impact on our team. We think from a standpoint of football, his work ethic, his film shows that he can make people miss. He's elusive. He runs really hard, but also off the field, we really enjoyed getting a chance to get to know him and the things that he's going to bring from a leadership standpoint. That was something that was really important to us, and we were fired up when he decided to be a Dragon.
So these two running backs in the group, kind of like a thunder and lightning type thing going on with these two, it kind of sounds like.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see how it all shakes out, and we definitely feel like those two are going to be great players for us.
All right, got a couple more position groups to get to as we're working our way through the 2025 recruiting class here for Tiffin University. Let's go to the quarterbacks. A young man out of Kenton High School has been having quarterbacks put up numbers like crazy for a while. Corbin Johnston, you listed him as a cerebral playmaker. Expound on that.
Yeah, and some of those things, the yards speak for themselves. I mean, at Kenton, he's throwing the ball all over the yard, and I think he's had a lot of practice. His brother Coop plays for us right now, Cooper Johnston, and Corbin is another guy that we've known about since we got here, and seeing him go out and be able to really make plays and extend plays. He is hard to cage in the pocket, and he can deliver accurate footballs, and he's a guy that's going to make it happen. So for us, watching the film and getting to know him, he's the type of player that we wanted here.
Well, one more quarterback. This one's got some real nice size on him, out of Orchard Lake St. Mary's in Michigan, Axel Newell.
Yeah, Axel won a state championship this year, with his team, and he's another one. We had him in camp this summer, and his ability, he's got a great arm. He's another guy that can make some plays, but he's a quarterback that he can put the ball on the money, and he can deliver it with velocity. So we're really excited about what we think he could turn into, and he's also got some great size to him as well.
So these two young men here, we're looking at the quarterback group. The kind of way to look at them is some arm talent, some playmaking ability, some guys that you think would really fit well with your offense.
Yeah, I think they're going to fit very well with our offense, and they're both competitors. They're great competitors. They're excited to be coming in here and get a chance to compete. And again, they've both played for great high schools, and they've gone out and done it at a really high level. So we're excited about their arm talent, their ability to make plays, but they're also elite competitors. And at that position, if you're willing to put the work in and study the playbook and study your opponent and go out and then compete at a high level, you could be a great player. So
absolutely,
we're really excited about both Axel and Corbin.
All right, our specialists are what we have left. A young man coming to us from Belleville, Michigan, does some kicking and some punting. That's Braden Lane.
Yeah, Braden Lane set a state record for extra points made. So he's been on a great team at Belleville, also a state champion. He's been on a great team there, but his consistency really stood out to us. They didn't give him too many chances to make deep field goals. When they called on him, he did his job.
Right.
But for us, we think that he could develop into a complete specialist, and we love the consistency, the work ethic that he puts in. That's a huge indication for a specialist over their success.
Another one young man coming to us from Lakota High School. He's a kicker. His name is Brandon Leal.
Yeah, Brandon Leal he's got a big leg. I mean, a very big leg. So he made some field goals in the 40s and 50-yarders in high school, which you don't see very often.
No, you don't.
But we saw right away, you turn his film on and the ball jumps off his foot. That's something that really excites you. And he's right down the road. So it's great that he's a local guy that has that kind of ability. We're excited to see him come in here and continue to perfect his craft.
Yeah, I forgot that Lakota had a good kicker this year until I was looking through this. I'm like, that is right. Well, that's our offense, Coach. So this group here as a whole, you got 5 offensive linemen coming in. You got a nice group of very athletic receivers, some great size coming into the tight end room, playmakers at running back, quarterback. All in all, the offensive group, pretty happy, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're very happy. We've worked really hard on identifying players and positions of need, and the players that we think can fulfill those things. We're excited to help these young men develop holistically. It's not just on the field. We're going to help them grow into great men. And I think the thing for us is we've got a class that's really receptive to that. That's a big part of our recruiting process. We spend a lot of time. This is not a place for you if you've got a fixed mindset. So if you want to grow on the field and be pushed, and then be pushed just as hard off the field, this is the place for you. And we feel like these guys we've identified fit that mold.
One great thing about this class, Coach, is that it's great for the kids. All the kids on this list. It's a very exciting day, but it's also very exciting for mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters. Everybody gets excited for these kids because they're taking that next big step into their future. And what's really interesting about it is that you got kids who are siblings of people who your coach are playing here. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is. It's really neat. We've got guys on this team that are going to get a chance to play with their brother, and that's a special thing. But I think what it does is it solidifies that you're giving those student athletes the experience that you promised them, and that's the thing that we feel really good about. I've coached these guys' brothers and gotten a chance to really help them develop. So as Jonan and Corbin and Cohen and Jack have signed on here, those have been great, great staples for this class because they're going to know what's expected the day that they show up. But also, they come from great families that we've had a chance to really get to know, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a really special thing in a program that we're committed to development and relationships, and there's nothing that solidifies it more than having a brother decide to be where his brother already is.
Oh, well, what's one of the most daunting things a young person can go through is going on to college. Let alone going on to college and now becoming a college athlete as well. And having a sibling here kind of maybe help ease that transition a little bit and, take some of the worry off and start concentrating in school and sports.
Yeah, somebody you can ask some questions to and kind of get the
where's the cafeteria?
Yeah, for sure.
And along with that, Coach, you got your family, but you got your football family too. 17 current players played with teammates that you have brought in. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we're bringing in 17 guys that have a former teammate from high school that are playing for us already. Yeah. So I think that's the same thing. It kind of helps that buffer. And honestly, those guys are the guys that are currently on our team. They're playing for us, and we're recruiting their high school teammate. Those guys are incredibly important to our recruiting process because, again, those are the guys that are saying, yeah, this is the experience that you're being promised in recruiting is the experience I'm having.
Right.
And that's something we encourage the recruits to do is ask those guys. If what we're saying isn't true in recruiting, then don't come here.
Right.
But the great thing is we feel like we're fulfilling the things that we've promised to our players. And honestly, that's been an amazing recruiting tool is the players that we currently have on our team.
And if you did these 17 young men are here already, if they weren't doing the job, you may not be as prone to go looking at their school if they weren't giving you the situation.
It's a testament to their hard work, and we're really excited.
And the program they come from. The coaches and high school coaches do an amazing job getting these kids ready for you to bring them in here to Tiffin University and become Dragon football players.
They certainly do.
Yeah. If you'd like more information on Tiffin University football, the entire class, last year's roster, statistics, archives, all of it, next year's schedule, it's all available for you at GoTiffin.Dragons.com. And this year you can catch all of the games live broadcast at the Great Midwest Digital Network on the radio on the Tiffin University Dragon Football Radio Network. And Coach, so why don't you just give us one more quick overview of this class, and then we'll wrap up shop and get ready for the 2025 fall campaign.
Yeah, I think this 2025 class is going to be looked back at and said, hey, this is a special group.
Excellent.
I think in 4 to 5 years you're going to say, with a lot of these guys, man, how on earth did they end up at Tiffin? And I think it's a testament to their hard work, their commitment to finding the right things in the recruiting process, what these guys are committing to. It goes way beyond football. Our expectations that we talk about with them in the recruiting process, it's a testament to them, their parents, their families, all entrusting us with their sons. So we're really excited about this group and what they're going to be able to bring to the table athletically, but more so as people. We can't wait to have them as part of our program, and we can't wait for them to make an impact.
Not only welcome to Tiffin University football, welcome to Tiffin University, and welcome to Tiffin, Ohio. Can't wait to watch you on the football field, and Mom, Dad, Aunt, Uncle, Grandma, and Grandpa. Can't wait to call the games for you on the Great Midwest Digital Network, but we want to see you in the stands right here in Tiffin, Ohio. Coach, thank you so much for your time. It's always a great time getting to celebrate our future Dragons. We love the Dragons we have, but we get excited about the ones we get to talk about coming real soon, too. So thank you so much for your time. Best of luck with these young men, and can't wait to see them on the field.
Thanks, Russ.
This has been our look at the 2025 recruiting class for Tiffin University football.